Hey everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday show for March 10th, 2011.
Kicking it off and off the press, Tron animated series.
Yeah, so it's kind of in between Legacy and old Tron, pre-Legacy, closer to Legacy.
Yeah, I think it's focusing on, you know, some of the characters that we didn't really learn properly about in the new movie and stuff.
Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Comics, Dave's got Spider-Woman, but she's an agent of some kind of almost S.W.O.R.D. agency.
S.W.O.R.D?
Looks pretty cool. Yeah, S.W.O.R.D, that's it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, clever.
That's good.
This is why we don't write comic books.
Yeah.
In tech news, we're bringing you HP computers with WebOS on them.
HP everything with WebOS.
That's true.
Printer, WebOS. Tablet, WebOS. Phone, WebOS.
Those shoes with the HP logo on them, somewhere in there, WebOS.
They have shoes?
They will soon, I promise you.
It's now featuring WebOS 2.4.
These shoes can send text messages. I keep getting messages, and they're just garbled letters. Oh, that's my shoes.
And we're going to lab, mad science. Sean's giving a send-off to Discovery. She came home safely this week for her last mission. So tell you about Bill Shatner's words on that.
And in Behind the Lens this week, we're bringing you a review of the Panasonic GF2 and the 14mm f2.5 lens.
Without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
Hey everyone, welcome to Off the Press this week. Starting it off, exciting news with Doctor Who, our favorite British sci-fi show.
This is actually a pretty exciting week all in all.
But very
a lot
big
of really
week.
neat stuff, yeah.
Really big week for Off the Press. So Doctor Who news, it is season 6 will be airing April 23rd.
Yes.
Same day as UK and US. 9 p.m. in the US, probably 7 in the UK, 7 GMT in the UK.
No word yet on Canadian arrival.
No.
But we'll all be borrowing it from the internet.
We can probably get it from our best friends on the internet by about 5 Eastern time. Just saying. That's usually when we get Top Gear, 5 or 6 Eastern time. But
that's kind of neat. I'm excited to see a lot of the same people back.
Yep.
Which, I mean, with Doctor Who, you never know.
It's true. Because they can just write someone off and be like, what? They never happened. We rewrote the timeline. But the first episode is going to be the part 1 of a 2-parter that was filmed in Utah. River Song's to be in it, and so is Rory, and obviously the Doctor and Amy, and to be Nixon, and crazy stuff.
It's cool. I'm really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any of the... Last year we got that big, awesome trailer for the season.
Yeah, that hasn't come up yet,
yeah.
but probably give it another couple weeks.
Yeah, we're still a month away, or more than a month away.
Yeah, we're
point,
like a month and 3 weeks away, so probably end of March, beginning of April, we'll probably see the big 2-minute trailer for most of the season.
Yay.
So, yay. And speaking of exciting trailers, we have a Tron Uprising trailer.
Yes.
So if you remember when Tron came out, there was talks of them bringing out an animated series. Called Tron Uprising, obviously, and now the trailer has surfaced for that officially.
Cool. It's gorgeous.
It looks really cool, really slick.
Yeah.
So we'll play a little bit for you right now. We'll be right back.
So that's Tron Uprising.
Yep.
Kind of exciting. This is the kind of stuff that we saw where we're going to be hopefully we'll be dealing with the isomorphs.
Yeah.
That sort of spontaneously arriving life form in the grid, which is kind of neat because they only talked about it briefly in the movie.
Very briefly in the
They talked about it a little more in the comic book.
Yeah. So I think this is going to kind of bridge the comic book and the movie, just kind of meld them all together into one entity.
Very exciting. I really like the work,
Yeah.
which shouldn't be surprising because it's CG. Mm-hmm. You were saying you didn't like the...
I didn't really like the way the human characters
The flesh.
Yeah, because they were drawn like the cell, the normal animation style, and then the
Sort
city.
of. I don't want to
sort
get
of,
all
yeah.
animation
Yeah,
geek
it's
about
obviously
it,
not
but
like normal style, but
Yeah.
they look 2D as opposed to the environment and the
Yeah.
light bugs and everything, which were obviously 3D. So
it kind of takes you
Yeah.
out of the immersion of
but
the
maybe
grid,
it was that
but
just one specific scene that they picked for the trailer.
I
so.
suspect that's going to be standard for that.
No.
Box Leitner's voice in there.
Yeah. You're reading through it. There was a pretty big cast of well-known actors.
Yeah. Very surprising, some of the
Yeah.
names that's on there. And I don't know if this is kind of trying to keep the audience warm, because originally they were planning on a trilogy for the Tron movies.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is sort of, okay, you know what, there's going to be enough people interested, and we got a cartoon aimed at kids.
Yeah.
Are they going to make if they do proceed with the second and third movie, are they going to make it a kids movie? It makes me a little worried.
Yeah. I'm a
But
little
you know what?
dubious.
If there's more Tron footage,
Yeah, why not?
you know, I'm okay with that. I like the grid. It
Me
looks
too.
nice. It's pretty.
And scary CGI Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
So continuing with things we are kind of dubious about. The certain musical about a certain web-slinging superhero, whose name we will not say because it's supposed to be cursed.
So we'll just call it the spider play.
Yeah, the spider play. More setbacks. So
Again.
not originally, but the last time we heard about setbacks, it was set to open by now, or in the next couple of weeks. It's been pushed back even further to mid-June.
Which is bad because someone has their tickets for earlier than
Well, they'll still be putting on shows, but they won't have like an official opening until June.
that. Really?
Yeah, it's.
I didn't know this.
It's technically been in preview since November. A lot of musicals aren't in preview for like 5, 6, 8 months. Most musicals are only in preview for a very short time, like 2 or 3 months before the show, just to iron out the kinks and get things really working. It's better than a dress rehearsal, but not quite as good as when it's actually starting.
Okay.
So,
Ms. Tamor?
yep, she is said to be out, or on her way out.
She's still
Well, not
attached,
really, yeah,
but
she's
she's not the director anymore.
Yeah.
I would assume that she's still. I don't know what her role will be. Without being a
No.
director, I don't know what they are
Some
calling.
kind of producer, maybe, but
Is she going to be an advisor? Is she going to be a consultant?
Mm-hmm.
How much is she handing over? How much of her role as director is she handing over to a new person?
yeah, they've also brought in a new musical director to look over the score as well.
Yes, which has me a little
Yeah.
scared because oddly enough, I was actually really excited about buying the soundtrack.
Yeah. The one thing that
So-
was kind of cool about this was the soundtrack written by Bono and The Edge. So more delays.
Yeah,
Way more delays.
so it's
Come on.
unfortunate, but I mean,
It's unfortunate, but this is a very ambitious musical. Though.
it is.
It is.
It's yeah. I mean, they're trying stuff they haven't done before,
Yeah,
and
like Cirque du Soleil, except
yeah.
more.
But the thing is, she was saying, if you're not going to do something that if you're not going to take a risk, why
Yeah,
bother?
Exactly.
They took a huge risk and it's.
$65 million and counting.
We'll see if it pays off. So far, I wouldn't say that they've got
It's
an awesome winner.
from a
here.
box office point of view, it's not a flop because people are buying tickets. People like me who are like,
Yeah.
I want to see the train wreck.
Yeah.
Or people who have kids are into superheroes and stuff and want to bring them to an age appropriate show.
Yeah,
So
but it's fill the seats,
Yeah.
and that's what they've been doing.
there are butts
So.
in seats.
So
And finally, also talking about butts in seats.
Oh my.
Oh my. So we talked about the Star Wars movies coming out in 3D. There were no official dates when we talked about it. And now there is an official date for the first one, February 10th, 2012.
And it's actually the first one. They're going to be
No,
starting.
no, it's not the first one. It's one of the 3 that don't really exist. That aren't canon, right? Yeah, so they're starting with Phantom Menace.
Yeah, which I don't think should have been a surprise. A
No,
lot of
it's-
people were looking forward to seeing A New
It's
Hope
not
show
a
up first,
surprise.
and
It's a disappointment.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose.
So they're gonna be
But it's gonna sell. It's gonna sell
Yeah,
huge numbers.
there will be butts in
Who are we
seats.
kidding? as much. Oh, that sucked. Okay, I've only saw it like 5 times.
Yeah. Oh man, that sucked. Man, that pod racing did look totally awesome.
Yeah. I'm not excited. I'm not excited about this, but
No.
I am going to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll probably go see it, but on cheap night.
I probably
It's not worth
will
my full
see it full
dollar.
pop, but that's how I roll.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
So each Star Wars movie is supposed to come out one after the other. So we're not going to get A New Hope until 2015. Awesome.
Kind of makes me a little sad.
Yeah.
That means that all my favorite Millennium Falcon scenes are going to be 2016,
Yeah. You see the
Anyway.
fuzzy Ewoks in 2017.
Don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, fine.
All right, so we got new releases this week. We're going to be starting with,
Battle Los Angeles.
which looks kind of cool.
Looks cool, getting terrible reviews, but whatever reviews meant.
I'm just going for explosions.
Yep.
We also have, after that, we're going to be going to Mars Needs Moms.
The new Disney Pixar. Is it?
No.
No.
And not only that, but I am really not excited about this
No,
movie.
it looks kind of lame.
Yeah. After that, we're going to DVD Blu-ray.
DVD Blu-ray starting with The Walking Dead Season 1 on DVD
Season
and
one-ish.
Blu-ray. Yes, that's
Yeah,
6 episodes.
6 episodes.
Thingy. It's packed with extra features though.
If I was going to watch these again, I would really want to see it right before I saw the beginning of 2nd episode because
Yeah.
the 6th episode left me so cold.
Yeah, it's like, why would you do that?
Jackass 3D.
Yeah. I'm not
Well,
sure.
it's Jackass 3. I don't
Yes,
know if
Jackass
it's being
3.
released in 3D.
It's not actually being released on Blu-ray 3D, but they do have a special package where you get the red and blue glasses that come with 4 pairs of them. But
Didn't see the first one, didn't see the second one.
Nope.
I'll probably see the third one about as much.
don't really care, but it's news. And then the last DVD Blu-ray we have is The Next 3 Days with Russell Crowe.
I heard great things about this movie.
It's actually pretty good.
But again, I like Liam Neeson. I like Russell Crowe. I don't know who what's her name is. But
She was okay,
yeah.
I guess.
Anyway, whatever. And games.
The huge release this week is Dragon Age 2.
Whoa.
Apparently it's already getting Game of the Year
Wow.
from a couple of people, but, they're handing those out like candy nowadays. Whatever.
Oh.
And it's only March.
Hmm.
Come on, guys.
All right. That's it this week for Off the Press. Hi everyone, welcome to From the Gutters. I'm going to be reviewing 2 books this week, Weapons of the Metabaron and Spider-Woman, Agent of S.W.O.R.D. First book, Weapons of the Metabaron, was written by Alejandro Jodorowsky, who is kind of legendary. I can't remember the second guy's name, Yanyatov. He did a lot of the illustration for this book, and Travis Charest, who's also a legend for various reasons, does probably maybe a third, maybe a little over a third of the illustration work inside the story. The story, it's the ongoing story of the Metabarons, and this one starts with a guy who is learning how to be a Metabaron, learning the powers and the fighting style of the Metabaron from his father, and the last test is that you have to kill your father. And it's... Jodorowsky's writing, the story in this was confused, but that is pretty typical for Jodorowsky's stuff. People who like the previous Metabaron work are going to enjoy this as well. The biggest conflict for me, before we get into that, I don't really like Jodorowsky's writing. There's an exception. I enjoyed The Fountain. That was very cool. I really liked the book, and I really liked the movie. In this case, though, I didn't like it. I didn't think it made... Reading this book felt like a labor. The art, Travis Charest's work, is gorgeous. I love it. Now, Yanyatov's artwork is not on the same level as Travis Charest. It is good. When viewed on its own, it is good. And it's very bande dessinée, it's very European. But when you compare it, when you have it in the same book, in the same story as Travis Charest, it's awful. It doesn't stand up. It looks like a high schooler drew it. Travis Charest's work is probably the best stuff I've ever seen him do. It's all beautifully rendered, gorgeous work, but he only does about a third of the book, like I said. This is an expensive book. It's a hardcover. It's $19.95 US. Is it worth it? I would not say that this book is worth it, all in all, but that is because I don't like the writing, and there wasn't, for me, enough Travis Charest artwork. This book, I give it a D-. On to our next book, Spider-Woman, Agent of S.W.O.R.D, written by Brian Michael Bendis and illustrated by Alex Maleev. This is not its original release. It came out first as a motion comic, specifically designed to be seen in motion on a computer. And they were even saying, hey, it's great for your iPhone. I couldn't load it onto my iPhone. My iPhone didn't like it for whatever reason. This comic book, though, it's also come out in 2 different formats prior to this. So this is probably the last collection style we're going to see from this story. As you get into the writing, Brian Michael Bendis is writing. Spider-Woman is busy. At the beginning of the book, she's moping. She's talking about Wolverine and how he's the most screwed over person in the universe. She's like, well, you know what? There's a new person who's more screwed than Wolverine, believe it or not. And that's me. So she gets recruited by the chief of S.W.O.R.D, which is an interplanetary defense group. Sort of like S.H.I.E.L.D., but interplanetary. So she recruits Jessica Drew and gives her a little phone, which looks totally not like an iPhone. It's totally not one. I think it is. And she's also given a watch. And these 2 devices help her to detect non-humans on Earth. So that means she should, I don't know if they're going to get into it, but she could probably also detect mutants. Anyway, she goes to Madripoor and gets beaten up and beats up Skrulls and stuff like that. And it also goes through her relationship to Hydra, because Spider-Woman was once an agent of Hydra. And it gets into her and how she dealt with her parents. All in all, when I picked it up, I thought this was going to be awful. And I was very pleasantly surprised. This book, it was very pretty. And on top of that, it was Brian Michael Bendis' writing, but he wasn't doing his, I'm in 5th gear, Brian Michael Bendis, look at how clever and witty my writing is. It was good. It was a moderated Bendis, and it was gorgeous Maleev artwork. If you don't like Alex Maleev's artwork, do not read this book. Don't bother. But for me, it was an absolute hit. I give this book an A-. That's it for this week from the Gutters. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're kicking it off with Motorola news.
For Canada,
Yeah.
March 17th, which is like a week from now. It's pretty sweet.
Next Thursday?
Sure,
I think.
maybe.
I think it's next Thursday.
Sounds about right. You can pick up an Atrix from Bell, only Bell, which is... But the phone is here, so that's pretty cool. Check it out.
Are we able to get it with the laptop docky
I
thing?
don't know. I would assume so. I wouldn't recommend it.
Someone from the sidelines is saying yes.
Sam says yes. Don't.
No.
I've heard horrible things about it.
Well, basically the reviews are it's slower than using a laptop that you could have bought for $300, so why bother?
Yeah.
I like the concept.
Oh, cool idea. Yeah.
And I think maybe in like a year from now, when the phones are like running 1.8 gigahertz dual core processors.
Well, that's 2 months from now. They already have 1.5.
All right, so like when they're running like 2.6 gigahertz dual core processors and they can actually do flash and stuff, I think it might be worthwhile. I'm interested to see who might make a better version of it.
Not Apple.
No, that's unlikely because Apple would then
HTC maybe that would be cool. But
yeah. Or Palm could step up.
You mean HP?
Yes, sorry.
Palm's gone. They even canned the name. I wanted to keep the name, but different argument.
HP could step up.
But Atrix is a good phone if you're looking for an Android phone.
Yeah, one of the best on the market right now.
So check that out if you're in Canada and you want a new Android phone.
In other news, a contest goes on every year called Pwn to Own.
Yeah, so basically they invite select hackers and people in the security community to come in and see how quickly they can take down the major browsers. So that's like Safari, Chrome, IE, Firefox. I'm sure they do other ones like Opera and stuff, but who cares? I'm sorry, I don't. It's usually a 3-day event, and they have different categories and things like that. First day, Safari got owned in 5 seconds. That's pretty quick.
It is.
There was also a new release of Safari today, so if you're interested. Firefox survived first day, so no breakthrough yet. I'm sure they'll get them. IE also got cracked. This is IE 8, not 9, because 9 is not technically out yet. But it did take a little longer than Safari, but not really worth talking about. Chrome did great, unscathed, because no one showed up to hack it.
Which is really kind of disappointing.
Really weird.
Because they were offering, what, was it 10 grand or 20 grand?
So the Pwn to Own people don't really give you any money.
Yeah, it's the companies.
But Google came out and said, look, you can break our browser, I'll give you 20 grand. A person. Yeah. So if 3 people broke it, they would each get 20 grand. There were 2 people signed up to go to Pwn to Own and try and break Google Chrome. They didn't show up.
I don't really know what,
I don't understand that.
Conspiracies.
It's weird. But you're going to see a lot of headlines like, Google's doing great, but really, then you read the article and you're like, oh, no one did anything. So, side note for that.
In Facebook news, apparently Warner might be making it possible to rent movies through Facebook.
Yeah, this blew my mind when I heard about it the other day.
I really feel like the last thing we need right now is another way to rent movies.
Yeah, the good thing, super cheap. $3.
Oh, wow.
Or 3,000 Facebook credits. I didn't know those existed.
Well, because Facebook's now amalgamized all of their credit system. So when you spend money
in-game things?
Well, not even, like, yeah, if you go and buy tokens for a game, those tokens exist on your account, and then you could go use them for, like, advertising on Facebook or things like that.
They're Facebucks.
Oh.
Why did you not pick that, Zuckerberg? That's way better than Facebook tokens.
Because Facebucks just...
It sounds awesome.
Well, yeah, but it also sounds like they're trying to be greedy. And
they are trying to be greedy.
Okay, for what it's worth, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't want Facebook to actually make money.
Yeah,
he just has to because it costs too money to run things. He could do it all for free, you know. He pretty much already does. Yeah. Facebook is never going to be a paying service.
No.
So...
But yeah, so Warner's making a huge amount of their films available on Facebook. They say it's the next step in... well, they use buzzwords, upgrading their online distribution digital portfolio.
Well, I'm surprised that they didn't go to something like... Because is Warner on iTunes?
I don't know. I would assume
Because I would assume that most of these companies would either consider going to iTunes or Amazon first.
They might... What if they're on both?
On Warner.
There you go. It is on iTunes according to Dave.
So then it seems like, why would Warner go
and branching out? Why not be everywhere?
I know, but if they're going to be like, hey, we'll do it on Facebook for cheaper.
I don't know if it's cheaper. I don't know what iTunes rental rates are 99 cents, right?
Well, it depends on the movie, but most current movies are $4 to $6 for standard high def. So.
And I'm not really sure on what the kind of quality is going to be because it's going to be in web.
Do we know whether or not we're going to be able to get this in Canada?
No idea. Probably not. I would imagine not. I think it's probably an America only thing for now. Sony Pictures has also said they might jump on the bandwagon recently. So that's kind of interesting. I don't think you're going to see a lot of use for this, but who knows? It is a little different because it's on the web, right? You don't have to download anything. You just kind of click and start watching the movie, pause, and log in on Facebook somewhere else and continue watching from there. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
But it'd be interesting. I don't think Facebook wants to be in this kind of business. But I don't think they're going to stop anyone from doing it that way.
Well, I think the issue is that everyone knows how lucrative Facebook is, and everyone's just throwing money at Facebook, and Facebook's really going to be like, no, we don't want your money.
Yeah, it's just going to...
Justin Timberlake said it good, you know, why we have $1 million when you have $1 billion? Or in this case, $60 billion.
Yeah, so there you go.
In hard drive news, if you were a fan of Hitachi... You're now going to have to buy Western Digital.
Yeah, so Hitachi bought out Western Digital for $4.3 billion this week. That's a huge purchase.
It is.
Especially for a company like Western Digital, which is not a very dynamic kind of company. They make hard drives.
And that's really about it. And,
you know, every once in a while they make a larger hard drive.
I'm interested to see what this is going to do to Hitachi's side project, which is their G technology drives, which are their little RAID and performance hard drives that they market to creative professionals. because they've been pretty popular with a lot of photo and video editors recently, picking up these little RAID arrays and stuff. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen to those little groups of
I
products.
imagine what you're going to see in the short term is nothing.
Okay.
I imagine eventually they'll drop the Hitachi brand. I don't see why you'd continue it, because then you're competing with yourself.
Yeah, well, not really, because if they buy a Hitachi product or a Western Digital product,
I
you
suppose,
still make money, right?
but then it's hard to market.
I suppose.
You don't want to pay to market two brands
I guess.
necessarily. But that's not a hard drive issue. That's a tiny chip that implements that.
Yeah.
So now that they own that, they can continue to make the product if it's selling well.
I suppose they could it would just be Western Digital drives in the G-Tech drives
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah, I think this is probably not a bad thing. The hard drive industry is really going solid state if you want to look at the actual industry being dynamic. Like the actual platter hard drive industry is going nowhere. Every once in a while now we can buy 3 terabyte drives. Well, in 6 weeks I expect to be able to buy a 3.5.
Yeah.
In 6 weeks after that I expect to be able to buy a 4. So when they provide me with a 4, I'm not mind blown.
Yeah.
I'm not excited about the new hard drives, right? And the prices are expected to keep coming down, and they do. So it's a fairly, we know what's going on in the industry. So is competition doing anything? Not really. Hitachi drive versus Western Digital drive, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't. So, people have preferences, and that's built from the old days where it did matter. But everything's so reliable and so well built these days, it doesn't. But it does put the ball on Seagate.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of the other drive company now. So it's really Western Digital and Seagate. So maybe you'll see something coming there. Maybe they'll launch a consumer line that's different. Or maybe you'll see portable hard drive prices drop because those are ridiculously inflated. But I think it's probably all in all a good thing. And maybe one of these guys will actually start making a flash drive. Hopefully. Stay in the market.
So speaking of PC peripherals, HP has decided that they want to put WebOS on every single one of their devices.
Yeah, pretty much. So the CEO came out this week, and I'm really starting to like the CEO of HP, which is weird because I don't like HP, but I think I probably should. He came out this week and said, starting probably later this year, they're going to start shipping all their PCs, so like laptops, netbooks, desktops, dual booted with WebOS.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't want to give up the ability to use Windows 7 or something,
No.
especially not this early in the game for WebOS.
No.
But I would like the idea of playing around with that kind of operating system.
I think what this says more than anything else is that HP wants something to change.
Yeah.
And to be honest, man, are they making all the right decisions for a company right now?
Well, the other thing, too, is, they're really pushing for integration. They want every single one of your devices to talk to every single one of
which
your
we
other
saw
devices.
with the whole when they released their tablet and their phone and all that touch.
Yeah,
things.
we'll probably see that same technology carry over. You'll be
Well,
able to touch it to your
why
HP
not?
Touch Smart computer, and now the stuff you were looking at on your phone is now on your computer.
because it's the same thing. You just need a little hardware device, right?
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
you're done.
And then you have that picture that you're looking at, and you touch it on your printer, and then your printer's like, oh, I see this, and it wants to print it now. Like, it'd be really cool to see that. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's a company that's come the closest, really, to try to mimic Apple's integration, at least on a software level.
I think they're making, because it looks, if you look at it that way, it looks like they're kind of trying to do the Apple thing where they can control the software
Yeah.
and the hardware, which, as we know, will lead to a better integrated
A
experience.
more refined experience.
But they're not really doing it the Apple way.
No, they're
because
still giving you a bit more freedom.
They're a much bigger company.
Yes.
And they've got other concerns and things like that. So what they're doing, it's really smart. They're
It's
saying,
kind of
look,
the best of both worlds.
look, we got WebOS. You're not going to go buy an HP computer because it's got WebOS on it. I mean,
No.
some people will.
Yeah.
But that is an insignificant portion. But what happens is you'll see that on the box now. So that name's going to start getting into consumer knowledge. People know who HTC is now because they started branding their phones with HTC.
Yeah.
Once you see WebOS on all, there's going to be that sticker on your laptop, Every time you boot up, there'll be that selection.
Yeah. And it's the kind of thing that if you do play around with it and you like it, you might go, I like this. Can I get other devices that operate?
Yeah.
It's the same idea that Apple really hit a stride when they brought out the iPhone and then brought out the iPad, because anyone who had used an iPhone and liked the use of that iPhone was like, oh, it's the same thing in a bigger format.
Yeah.
And
on top of this, I think what's really going to hit home is this is a huge push to developers.
Absolutely.
Because now to develop on WebOS, super easy. Everything has. All I have to do is go buy a computer. I need a computer anyway.
Yeah.
And then I can play around with WebOS. So I think I think HP is doing a lot of really cool things right now, which is weird because I'm really that guy who likes to hate HP, but I can't.
They're on the upswing.
I really hope something good comes of this because compared to even Apple lately, things HP are doing much more exciting. At least prospect-wise, I think HP can do some crazy things if all goes well, and I think the CEO's a good person to be leading this charge. So look for WebOS in your HP PC coming up, hopefully later this year.
And finally this week, PS3 is going to the cloud.
Yeah, so PS3 released a software update like they tend to do all the time.
Which takes like 7 years to install.
Yeah, or if you don't install it later, you'll have to install it because you tried to play a new game or something stupid. So it's 3.60, I believe. Now, if you're not a PlayStation Plus member, this lets you change how long your standby controller stays on before turning off.
Ah.
That's it. However, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, it's much more exciting. Now, PlayStation Plus is that subscription level where you
It was them trying to compete with Xbox.
Well, kind of, but not really, because you can still play games without it.
It's true.
But it gives you like early access to demos and things like that, or extended access to demos, or new clips, and it's not as expensive as Xbox Live is either. But the cool thing with this is now, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you can sync your save files to the cloud. So if I'm at your place, we're playing PS3, I've got a PlayStation Plus membership, and we're playing co-op or something in Call of Duty and we get to a certain level, I can go home and pick up at that same level.
That's pretty cool.
If I get achievements while I'm over here, I can get the achievements at home because it stores all my game saves, which are small files, on their servers.
It'd be interesting because Xbox to an extent has that capability, because you can bring your gamer tags over and some of your achievements and stuff in Call of Duty. It's not a save game, but when you're talking about like leveling up in Call of Duty Online or something, you can do that kind of thing. But the problem is it takes like 4 minutes to bring your profile over.
It's awful.
So I'll be curious
then you have to go bring it back when you get home.
It's true.
And this is just a login.
Oh, okay.
All I have to do is have a profile on your PS3 that is my account.
All right.
And I mean, with Xbox, the difference is, if I bring my profile to your account, when I go back to my Xbox, I have to do that whole process again to be able to play on my profile. This doesn't have that.
Cool.
Side note, if you do on Xbox and you keep doing that, stop doing it. Buy a USB key and put your profile on the USB key. Now you can do that, because it's way smarter. And then you don't have to sit there and go, oh, what's my password to my live mail again? So, yeah, just a tip.
All right, and that wraps up Tech Insight this week.
It's kind of alive!
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh. Hi everyone, and welcome to Mad Science for this week. We got a space-themed show. No more robots or prosthetics.
For
now.
Yeah, for now.
I won't make promises.
No. So we're going to kick things off with an off-the-press Mad Science crossover. So this past week, the Space Shuttle Discovery was on its last flight, and they were awoken by the smooth voice of Captain James T. Kirk. Again. So we're just going to show you a little video, and we'll be right back.
Space, the final frontier.
These have been the voyages of the Space Shuttle Discovery. Her 30-year mission, to seek out new science, to build new outposts, to bring nations together on the final frontier, to boldly go and do what no spacecraft has done before.
I don't know about you, but on my last flight of a spacecraft, I would like to hear that.
That's pretty cool.
It's William Shatner. I like William Shatner, but it's him trying to get out there again. And he's been trying to do that for a while now. But this is very, very much dignified and very, very necessary, I think.
Very cool.
Because if it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be...
Leonard Nimoy.
No, it wouldn't be Leonard Nimoy.
Jean-Luc Picard.
It would have been.
Oh, yeah.
It would have definitely been him. But, you can't always get what you want. Sometimes...
It's all right.
You get what you need.
It's NASA. They're American. Of course, they're gonna hire an American for this.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
But so now Discovery is done. There's no more shuttles. You can buy it as long as you promise to put it on display
Somewhere.
in a museum. But
Chances are it's going to the Smithsonian.
yeah, I don't see it going anywhere else.
No, it's not official, but that's what we think here.
Yeah.
So moving on, bringing a little bit more international flair to this segment.
Yeah, well, according to our article here, back in 2009, the Japanese Space Agency discovered a pretty big crater/cave
Like
on the moon.
a nice cavern that was sealed and had a constant pressure, or constant temperature and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But the Indian Space Research Organization has done one better and has discovered a cavern that's a little bit, actually
bigger.
a lot
bigger.
Like, I'm talking 1.7 kilometers big and 120 meters wide.
It's a big, big cave.
Yeah.
And practical upshot?
Moon base.
Yep, moon base.
Yeah, but basically a quick and easy moon base. We
Well, I
don't have
mean, there's nothing you really have to worry about. You
Yeah,
just
just-
put in your infrastructure.
to, build them so we can actually breathe in there.
Well, yeah, you got to do that, I guess. But yeah, so this raises some new questions, and it also kind of gives a push towards something that all space agencies and all countries who have gone into space have been trying to do for a long time. The Americans have wanted to go back to the moon for a while. The Russians, of course, have always wanted to do this. Japan has tried and unfortunately failed multiple times.
This is basically colonizing the moon for cheap.
Yeah, and really, when you really think about it, practically speaking, a lot better. Me and Scott were having this discussion a couple weeks back, and how there's no atmosphere, and there's no ionosphere. There's nothing to block the radiation.
Yeah.
So this solves a lot of those problems.
Yeah, definitely.
So keep an ear out and keep an eye out for more of these articles regarding moon craters and moon caves that will allow for bases to be made, because this could get very interesting very quickly.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to our final topic, still keeping the space theme as we said. When we get into the moon cave,
Yeah, we may be interested to find some things there. We already know there's water on the moon.
yeah,
They've proven that by throwing a rocket at it. It worked. However, we have a new NASA scientist who thinks he may have found extraterrestrial life.
keep in mind though, this is just the one guy and his team. It's not NASA officially.
However, it does need to be mentioned, although once again a point was raised that what do these people know? The scientist, I'm just trying to remember his
This
name.
is also very preliminary research.
Very, 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 very. It's just they found fossils of organic life in some meteorites.
Or what they think is fossils.
Yeah,
of
or what
organic-
they think is
Yeah.
fossils. And so before they even came out and said this, they had done a peer review of the report, and it came out that, let's put it out there, but let's call for another peer review. Let's get a whole bunch of people in
I
here.
think I read an article where they were calling in 100 different scientists from all over the world.
They were going
different
all
fields,
over.
all different fields of study.
Yeah, they weren't stopping at just one group. They wanted,
Yeah.
or just the Americans. They wanted to go all over. This is an
Everyone.
international now,
Yeah.
and I think that's a good idea, really, because it's not going to be like that other fiasco of we found new life. Yes, it's new life. It's based on arsenic, sort of, that we know of, because you didn't sterilize the disc and all the specimens. But that's fine. That's fine. That was interesting. But even more interesting would be if it turns out that yes, this is bacterial life that has come from out there.
Yeah.
Because then that means that life may not be as rare as we really think. It's a step forward. It's another bacteria that could have turned into another civilization.
Yep.
Anywhere near ours, maybe faster, maybe less. Who knows? But it's interesting. Keep an ear out once again on this article.
This is probably going to come up in a couple of years once all the scientists,
Actually, this should
more
be coming up.
scientists have gotten back to them.
Actually, this should be coming up within the months.
Oh, awesome.
This is going to be something they want to get. They want to have this figured out sooner than later.
Yeah.
And they want to make sure that all data is looked at by multiple groups, multiple parties, multiple peers. So really, that wraps it up for this week. So we've had a pretty good week for space.
Huge week.
So we lost a shuttle. Well, we haven't lost them. They're being decommissioned. William Shatner sang it to its wonderful rest.
No, please, no William Shatner singing. Ugh.
Spoke it to its
Thank you.
wonderful rest. We found craters and caves on the moon
Yep.
that can potentially house us in the future. And we may have found the beginnings of life elsewhere in the cosmos. Pretty good week for science.
Yep.
And that wraps it up.
Hey everybody, welcome Behind the Lens. This week we're talking about collaboration filming with iPhones.
Yeah. So there's an app called Collaboracam, and what's cool about this app is it basically allows you to attach 4 iPhone 4s, iPhone 3GSs, or iPod Touches to a main server that can be on either any of those devices or an iPad. And the iPad can act as the director and basically choose video feeds from those 4 cameras as they're all basically filming simultaneously. And then the iPad or other devices acting as the director basically can record that stream, which is pretty cool. They have a demo video on their website that shows them at a skate park. So essentially, they've got 3 or 4 people set up around the perimeter of the skate park area, and someone's just looking at the feeds and going, "All right, he's here now, and he's here now, and he's here now," which is really cool. I mean,
Very cool.
to see that kind of implementation on what is a cell phone. I mean,
Because if you want to do this at all,
yeah,
other than this way, get ready to drop a large amount of money.
and by large he means like over 20 grand.
Yeah, because we don't even do that here on our studio.
Yeah. So it's pretty neat to see that kind of thing implemented.
For sure.
The app's running for $7 right now.
So do you have to pay that 4 times or 5
Well,
times?
I think ideally they would expect that if you were using this in a studio or something, that all the phones would connect to the same computer anyways. So they'd likely all just share one purchase of the app. But yes, you would have to buy that app 4 times if you needed 4 devices to do it. But that being said, I mean, if you're still spending $40 or $50 tops to get it, I mean, it's still a pretty good price.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see, we were talking earlier, and this is over Wi-Fi and 3G, it's transmitting the video.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see what 3G performance is like.
Yeah,
Mind you, if you were doing it on the site, you could just throw up a hotspot.
for sure.
But
Now, a couple people have tried it out, and a couple of the sort of complaints they've heard thus far is that the audio feed switches to the camera that's in play. And that makes sense sometimes, but doesn't make sense when you're maybe using it to do a 3-camera interview or something, where one phone is either set up with a microphone or set up in an optimal audio position. So I think one of the things people would like to see changed is the ability to add, to basically choose which device you're pulling audio from. And then the other thing is that there sometimes can be a little bit of delay in the switching. But, I mean, for what it's doing...
Yeah, for what it's doing and what it's providing you, I think you can live with a little delay.
Now, what you can do is you can do a sort of rough edit and save out a 640 by 480 video, or you can save it natively and then bring it into something like iMovie on your iPad and then edit it from there if you want to. So, I mean, it really does allow you to run a mobile studio effectively when you are combining it with an application like iMovie or something like that.
I think it'd be pretty cool for exactly what they had on their site. You know, skate park, you want to get some really quick shots, and your goal's web video.
Yeah,
this is going to
absolutely.
give you something perfectly usable.
Yeah, so I mean, if
There's-
you and a couple friends have some iPhone 4s and you want to put together something out in the field, check it out. Collaboracam, if you go to collaboracam.com, you can check out the iTunes app.
Yeah.
So today we are reviewing the Panasonic GF2 and, with it, the Panasonic 14mm f2.5
This little
lens.
guy right here.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the big thing you'll notice right away about the GF2, it's incredibly small.
It is. It's nice. It's a nice little package.
It is. EOS HD kind of coined the phrase the girlfriend camera. Because it'd be the kind of camera in size that you would give to your girlfriend who wants a good picture but doesn't want to carry around your big SLR. Because ultimately it's an interchangeable lens camera, and it's using a larger micro four thirds sensor, so the image quality is pretty good. But it's the smallest right now of the compact cameras. It's very similar to the NEX3, but the lens is smaller, so it's kind of winning from that perspective.
Yeah, they do have the NX series has big lenses.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Upgrades from the GF1 is it's using its 14 megapixel now instead of 12. The processor hasn't changed, so the image quality really isn't all that different from the GF1. So if you have a GF1, don't buy a GF2. You're really not gaining anything.
As with almost most cameras in the
Yeah.
industry these days.
But if you were thinking about a GF1, the GF2's a good option because they've added 1080p video to it. Now, sadly, unlike the GH2, it doesn't have manual video control, and it's 17 megabits per second as opposed to 24 megabits per second, and there's no 24p mode. It's 1080 60i, so it's a little bit more limited in the video, which I think is kind of. I really feel like cameras now should just always give you the option for manual. If they always give you the option for manual for stills, why don't they always give you the option manual for video?
Yeah, is there something limiting them? Is there a reason?
Yeah,
or
I
do they
mean-
just not offer it?
I mean, you know, I can understand not giving it the full 24p, 24 megabits per second because they want the GH2 to have that.
Yeah.
And I can understand that from a segmentation point. But I feel like manual video doesn't make you, you know, sure, you might go and buy the more expensive version because it has manual video, but you shouldn't have to for manual video. Otherwise, still mode, it's fairly quick. They've added it's a 3-inch touchscreen on the back now, which some people are going to like, some people aren't.
A little small if you have big fingers, as I noticed when I was playing around with it.
Yeah, the people who like the GF2 because it was, or the GF1 because it was very tactile, had a lot of buttons and switches on it, sort of like the old Leica cameras, probably aren't going to be a huge fan of the GF2 because they've removed a lot of those buttons.
There's almost nothing.
It's essentially, the back of the camera looks like a point and shoot.
Almost exactly like a point and shoot. Actually.
Yeah, so I mean, the big thing that you're gaining with this is it's someone who has a point and shoot that wants better performance. This is the perfect camera. It's not drastically bigger, but it has much better low light capability, better performance, and interchangeable lenses. So, you know, I think I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5 if I was going to rate it. If you've got a GF1, don't bother. If you're thinking about a GF1, the GF2 is probably a better option, but it's missing some of the features to really knock it out of the park. However, you can get it with 2 different kit lenses. The first one is the 14-42, which is sort of the standard kit lens that Panasonic offers with almost all their cameras. But the second is their new 14mm f2.5 lens, which is insanely small, and it weighs nothing. We were comparing it to the 20mm lens, which was a very small lens to begin with, and it actually makes the 20mm lens look like a big lens.
Yeah, this is really tiny.
Yeah. Now, the big thing that Micro Four Thirds lacks right now is an affordable wide angle. You can get the 7-14, but it's about a $1,200 lens, so it's pretty expensive. This guy comes in at about $450 if you buy it on its own, so it's pretty affordable. You know, some people are complaining that f2.5 wasn't quite bright enough, but you know, I really think it is for a lot of times. It's really sharp. So I think if you've got a Micro Four Thirds camera now and you're looking to pick up a wide-angle lens, absolutely recommend the 14mm f2.5 as it's a very sharp and bright lens.
Okay, there you go. That's the Panasonic GF2. Check it out if you're looking for a small Micro Four Thirds. That's it from Behind Lens this week.
And that brings us to the end of the show this week. As per usual, if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach us on Twitter at almost_Friday.
Or if you want to try something a little more old school, you can email us at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
So until next week, if you'd like to tell us where we can get a sweet pair of those HP shoes, we want them. I want a text from my feet.
I don't.
I don't want. Well, I'd want it, but only to see what would happen. It'd be like a whole new version of drunk texting.
Drunk texting?
Foot texting.
Foot texting? That
I mean,
doesn't work.
you'd get really complicated messages. What were you doing? I was at a dance club.